So we were in the middle of crowdfunding. I mean, I asked the question about how you felt about it in part because the movie I just saw earlier today was the Zach Braff one, which obviously angered a lot of people that he would go online and raise money when someone would have happily given him funding. And then I think the next people in here went to crowdfunding for Finishing, which is the Roger Ebert documentary. Those are both examples of movies that you'd think, or that could get financing outside of the system. I think the reason they did it, well, in the case of Zach Braff, he's been pretty clear it was for complete creative freedom. In the case of the Ebert documentary, it was to try and establish this community. Do either of those seem like reasonable reasons for?
Reasonable. I mean, I've contributed to documentaries. I actually think documentaries are not easy necessarily to get funding, so I tend to want to support those kinds of films because they're telling stories that, a financier is not going to be particularly excited about because there's not really a guarantee for a return. That's interesting. The notion of crowdfunding to have pure creative freedom. I still feel like that's achievable. You can get financing from a variety of sources that potentially mitigate your lack of creative freedom. But it is hard.
How was the Zach Braff movie?
I thought it was excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And more power to him. That nobody's being forced at gunpoint to give $5 or $10 or $100. Like, it's all, if they're willing to do that, that's totally more power to them.
I kind of concur, and I sort of thought the criticism was a little intense. Yeah.
Well, exactly. My objection is the one that you just stated, where sure you may disagree with him doing that, but he's not forcing anyone to contribute.
That's right. And look, he tapped into a fan base of people who want to see that film. That's sort of the beautiful thing about crowdfunding,
Right.
It really gets to the heart of a group of people that want to see whatever that product is actualized, and that's cool.
How did you fund the two movies that your company has here?
It's a little complicated, actually. A little complicated. Girl Walks Home Alone at Night was already partially funded, and there was some sort of financing towards the end for post-production. And Cooties was a wild and interesting road that all kind of came together really at the last second.
Very last minute, yeah.
Isn't asking about funding a little bit like asking to see somebody's underpants? I'm just saying. Like,
it is a little. It is a little.
Yeah.
But it is. Look, it is fascinating. I mean, I think that gone are the days of indie filmmaking where if you had a crazy idea, and you had some wild director that you could get $5 million. Like, for a while they were giving money away. After the success of things like Reservoir Dogs, because there was this whole renaissance. Those days are gone, and it doesn't seem like they're coming back anytime soon. So it's hard to get things financed, and nowadays we rely on foreign sales to sort of equal out some of the budget, and it's complicated.
How gets funded totally mystifies me.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're right that in a sense it is asking someone to drop pants, but on the but
what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
No, and it's a fair question, but it's just a weird. I feel like there's so many mystical things that go through the process of actually getting anything made, and sometimes they can be formed incentives, and sometimes they can't. It's very strange. It's weird, mysterious. I mean, that's kind of like why we're all here. We all want a little bit of the magic. I don't know what I mean.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a group of people that somehow managed to come together to create something, and there are powers that be that allow that process to happen, and they all agree that on some level that they want to see that come to fruition. So that's pretty magical. Well, however that fucking equates.
I wish
Do you know
we
what I
had a
mean?
really
Whatever that
interesting
puzzle
story,
is.
Like it was funded by a Balinese prince who took us onto his yacht and said, "I'll only give you the money if you kill this puma with a crossbow."
And I did it. And thank God Jack is a dead shot with a crossbow. It was my pleasure.